Hello, this is Melissa. I am here to talk to you about our Patreon page. This is a page that you can go to and give us a monthly donation as you listen to our podcast, and you can get bonus content such as getting episodes early, getting bonus episodes, and a bunch of other things. Eventually, we'd like to do some t-shirts and so much more. So if you're interested, no pressure, you can go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/messybunmamas podcast. Again, that's patreon.com/messybunmamas podcast. In a fitting manner, there is a coffee membership, a cold brew membership, and an espresso membership. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on that page, and thank you so much for listening.
Messy Bun Mamas. I'm Joe. I'm John. I am Malcolm. Wow.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Messy Bun Mama's podcast show. We are on episode number 8, friends. 2 months of you listening to us talk to each other and you about all of life's wonderful things.
Right.
So today we're going to be talking about practicing gratitude, but I can see Melissa's like not into this subject. She's like, whatever.
I feel like it's definitely a good thing for us to talk about because I definitely struggle with this on the regular.
So, but before we get into that, let's talk about our mama moments. Melissa, what was your mama moment for the week?
Okay, so I know that I've kind of talked about it a little bit, how the boys got bunk beds.
Mm-hmm.
And we have struggled with the kids staying in their beds forever.
Okay.
Forever. They just don't stay in their beds. They either end up sleeping in our bed or sleeping on the couch or sleeping in their sister's room or sleeping on the floor in the hallway.
When I was a kid, I did not sleep in my own bed. I hated it.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
It drives me insane. Well, since these bunk beds have went up, I would say that there is like a 90% retention rate of them staying in their bed at night.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's good sleep.
I know. And it's just like, I mean, like a week and a half ago, they have a TV in their room.
Mm-hmm.
Judge me. That's fine. I don't care.
No judgment from me. Whatever.
And like a week and a half ago, I took away their cord because if they do something sassy, like I'll take the cord out of their TV. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. No.
Right.
And a week and a half ago, I took it away, and they're still sleeping in their room without it. And I'm just like, wow.
That's amazing.
I'm very excited about it.
That's like a high five mama moment.
Right? It is very exciting just to have them like sleep in their beds.
Right.
Because it's the worst thing in the world. It's just for them not to come and lay on top of me. Like, I don't wanna.
Your quality of sleep is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's just like they're sleeping in their beds.
Yay!
Yeah. There's a win for Nana because she got the bunk beds and she likes getting wins. So there you go.
It's a mom win helping another mom have a mom win.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it's so nice like when they wake up in the morning, and it's so they are definitely boys. John's the mastermind, and John's the brain, Malcolm's definitely the brawn. Like,
Right.
he sends Malcolm on like scouting trips downstairs to see like if we're all asleep yet or not, and they can sneak snacks or whatever.
Right.
But there are sometimes that like I'll stand outside their bedroom door and just hear them talk to each other, and it's so nice. Just I mean, they share a room, and it's just
it's cute.
Boys and brothers and whatever, and it's just warms my heart.
That's awesome. That's a great mama moment.
Yes, I totally agree.
So my mama moment this week, of course, you know, Joe, I've got one to choose from. My mama moment for this week is I had turned the TV on for Joe.
Yeah.
To let him watch whatever he was. I shouldn't say whatever he was going to watch. I'm pretty controlling about what he watches.
Yeah.
But I turned it on so that he could watch TV, and I was going to try to sit down and work on some blog stuff and some podcast stuff.
Yeah.
And get some stuff done. And I said to him, hey, buddy, mama's turning the TV on for you so that you can watch this. You can be a big boy and sit in the living room all by yourself and play. See, mama got your blocks out here. You can make towers, blah, blah, blah. The whole, you know, spiel of do this by yourself for 30 minutes. Let mommy have a minute. I go into the office. I sit down, and literally I like wrote 2 sentences of like tasks I wanted to do. And I hear from the living room, Mom, I need you. Come here. I'm stuck. And I'll yell back, no, you're not. Get yourself unstuck. You can do this. And he's, Mom. So in the back of my head, I said to myself, you prayed for this.
Is that when you're frustrated with him? That's your like knee-jerk reaction.
Don't resent that he needs you. Just get up and go be with him. Be in the moment with him. So I walk into the living room, and we have our living room gated off, much like you do. So I walk in, and I'm sitting on the other side of the gate, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he has his foot. Mind you, the tub that the bin that the blocks are in are like, it's like just a little smaller than a laundry basket.
Okay.
But he has his foot dug into the blocks. And he's, Mom, I'm stuck. I need you to get me unstuck. And I'm like, Joe, can you please just pull your foot out? I'm really trying to be in this with you, but I'm very frustrated right now that this is why I got called in. Right. And so he's like, no, Mom, please. And so I'm like, oh my God, this is not going to end unless I just go in there. So I go in there, and I do this whole pretend thing of like, I had to pull really hard on his leg to get him unstuck.
You're a better mom than I am. I would have been like, I'm not pulling your foot out. Figure out your life.
So I'm not going to lie. Sometimes that happens, but I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I pull his leg out, and when I'm sitting down there, my face is down next to his, and I'm like, oh, we did it. We got it. He grabs my face, and he says, oh, you saved me. You're my hero, Mom. And gave me like the biggest kiss. And what that like, I was like, all right, so that was worth coming out here doing all of this for. But like the rest of the night, he didn't call me Mom. Whenever he wanted to reference me, he said, hey, hero lady, can you make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? So it was just like a really cute moment that I'm glad that I invested in. So
yeah, even though you were just like begrudgingly doing like a stupid toddler thing the whole time. Because I feel like that's my go-tos. I'm just like, why are we playing this game right now? Did you not know that I was busy?
Right.
Like, I was busy, and you like made me come in here because you just want to pretend that you're. That's usually when I'm just like, go get your dad, or not that John needs his foot out in the blocks. But you just have the 2 of you. So you don't have an out.
The dogs are not into helping me out with any situation, and the cat just stares at me. So So it was just a sweet moment that he turned, because we had like this whole precursor 10-minute conversation of just let mommy have a few minutes to get something done. And so he turns my aggravation into just a sweet moment. So that was my mama moment for the
I
week.
feel like they're so emotionally manipulative.
They are. I mean, just especially like the grabbing your face between their hands and giving you that sweet look. It's like,
yeah. Mine will come up to me and be like, I love you, Bob.
What do you want?
And I'm just like, no, you don't. Go away. You don't love me. But oh my gosh, if they like called me their hero, I think I would just be like doughboy all day. Like,
whatever you want.
Whatever you want. But I feel like they know.
Right.
Like they definitely know. Like he knows.
Well, I was gonna say, I think he caught on because I was just like, oh, Bubby, that's so sweet. So I think I don't disagree with you. I'm very sure that at this point they pick up on those cues of manipulation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
it's kind of funny because it's just like nobody's more emotionally manipulative than a toddler who wants a snack. Like, for sure.
Or to watch hamsters on YouTube.
Right?
I do not want to watch hamsters running through mazes for the next 40 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Or dominoes falling down.
Yes.
It was really cool. Like, so they went through this domino phase, and it was really cool the first, like, 2 days.
Right.
But when we're, like, 2 weeks in the thick of watching dominoes fall down, I'm just like, so the dominoes fall down.
Right.
I mean,
they fall down. Kudos to all the people that set up those elaborate, like, situations anyway. I'm like, you have way more patience than I do. I love monotonous jobs, but that would be too much for me. Yeah. And I see all 20,000 of your videos that you made.
Right? So true.
So yeah, I don't, I'm over hamsters running through mazes.
It's so true.
So, all right. So let's talk about practicing gratitude.
After this break.
After this break.
Hello, this is Melissa. I am here to talk to you about our Patreon page. This is a page that you can go to and give us a monthly donation as you listen to our podcast, and you can get bonus content such as getting episodes early, getting bonus episodes, and a bunch of other things. Eventually, we'd like to do some t-shirts and so much more. So if you're interested, no pressure, you can go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/messybunmamas podcast. Again, that's patreon.com/messybunmamas podcast. In a fitting manner, there is a coffee membership, a cold brew membership, and an espresso membership. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on that page, and thank you so much for listening.
All right, so practicing gratitude. I'm going to be upfront. Like, I know that experts recommend like writing out your gratitude every day.
And you've been doing this, right?
I do practice gratitude with writing it out. I don't do it every day.
Okay.
I'm gonna very honest with myself and everyone else. I don't do it every day, but I will say this, that I have found that it can be helpful. And so I'll just share with you like some of the things that I've read and that make it a better practice.
Yeah.
And that's, they say that you should write out at least like 3 to 5 things that you're grateful or thankful for.
Yeah.
And that you should be very specific about it. So like I can say I'm grateful for Joe, but to actually stop and think about like a moment, like our mama moments.
It's more meaningful.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because it makes you stop and look at maybe the smaller things.
That's true, because I was thinking of a mama moment yesterday, and I was just like, my kids were a giant pain in the butt today. I can't think of one good thing, and I was just like, well,
it's there, right?
You're a little smushy.
So that's so being specific, and it can be hard, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, sometimes, because I always try when I do write out my things, I do try to do like the whole, or I shouldn't say the whole. I try to be thankful for Dan, something specific for Dan, something specific for Joe, and then I try to find one other person to be to be thankful for. Sorry. And actually, the article that I had read talks about like social gratitude, to be thankful for other people, not just things that you have. I mean, it's one of the things that I wrote down this week in retrospect of like what's going on in our country with the weather and stuff is I'm thankful for a warm home, because there were some people that had no power for days in cold weather.
For sure.
And so I could write that and be like very literal, but I try not to do that every time in the winter, because our winters are like 9 months long. Because it's not, I mean, sure, stuff that we take for granted, but I can honestly say this week I'm thankful for that. But they encourage you to also be thankful for things that for like the social thankfulness of other people, so that you're valuing what other people are in your life versus just things.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. And so I try very hard. Now I do very well with picking out stuff for Joe, because I'm with him 24/7, and he is funny. I'm not gonna lie, he does have a great sense of humor. And he calls me out on stuff now. That's super not amazing, but like, you're 4. You can tell me what I'm doing wrong when you're like 20, okay? And even then, that's questionable.
Until it counts. Sit down, shut your mouth, and love me. That's all you're allowed to do.
Call me your hero. That's so and it can sometimes be a little harder to find things for Dan. We're together less, right? He works a lot of hours, but then too,
you can't write every day like, I'm grateful that Dan works long hours,
right? Because
then it loses its meaning,
right? Exactly, you're just wearing it thin. And sure, I am thankful for that every day, but I want to find those specific things. But I do struggle then. Probably now I struggle. We talked about this in the last episode of having less contact with people. I struggle to find like those social ways of being grateful for other people. And that's a little harder for me right now. It's easier to go on my old reliable. I'm thankful that I have a car so I can go to the Starbucks whenever I want.
That's fair, though.
Right.
I feel like it's a fair thing to be grateful for.
So, how about you? Tell me about what you think about practicing gratitude.
Okay, so I'm a big journaler.
I love to journal too.
Like almost every day I will journal. But I'm a negative journaler.
You're working all the emotions out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's how I like process things, especially if I'm upset or hurt. It's how I process it. So when you said this was your topic, I was looking into like things that people were saying about it, and I was just like, I mean, I definitely want my kids to be grateful, to practice gratitude, be grateful, whatever. But like I struggle with it, because I'm just like, it's just so hard for me, because like, yeah, I'm grateful for my house, but like I work my butt off to
Right.
pay these bills.
Right.
So, like, I'm grateful that my leg isn't broken and I can go to work. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's really hard for me because I'm just like, I work. I feel like we work hard to get what we had.
Right.
So, like, I mean, thanks, Melissa, for
high five,
thanks.
Melissa.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I struggle with not earning things, which is definitely like one of my downfalls. Is I would rather, you know, go uphill both ways in 10 feet of snow
Right.
to get something than for somebody to give it to me.
Right.
And so, like, I struggle a lot with this, but I want my kids to be grateful kids. So, like, I constantly, gifts is the hardest, especially like at Christmas this year,
Mm-hmm.
because they're just such ungrateful little. Ugh. I'm telling you, if I hear one more time, like, I don't like this, like, give all your toys back, you get nothing.
I have not heard that yet from Joe. I promise you, life would end for him.
And it's just like, it hurts me because, like, I don't want to raise ungrateful kids.
Right.
I don't want to raise kids who, you know, but I mean, to be fair, I don't show them the best example of being grateful. So mean. I can't really blame anybody. So when you said, like, my face at the beginning when I was like, it's because, like, I know this is something that I struggle with a lot because, I mean,
but it is harder as an adult, right?
Yeah.
Like to look at the small things. Like I keep mentioning the warm house, but that's because I am grateful this week that I have a warm house. And I was actually thinking we had our power lines buried in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was thinking this week when Texas looked like the whole state lost power. Right. I was thinking before we had our lines buried, we lost power on our street.
Regularly.
Like on a too regular of a basis.
Right.
And it was getting to the point where it was even happening in the winter. And so this week when the people in Texas were like, we have no heat. It's like 0 degrees. I'm like, dudes, I can totally relate to you right now. So I'm thankful I have heat in my house. So it's very it's stuff that we take for granted, right? Just as an adult, I guess that's where I was going with this, is that it's hard to stop and be thankful for stuff because, as you said, I worked for this. Who am I gonna thank?
Pat myself on the back.
But it is nice to, when you stop in reflection and look at what other people may have, and think, I am blessed, or I do have the benefit of, or even just, hey, thanks, Mom and Dad, for instilling a great work ethic in me.
Right.
To so it's finding those little things to be thankful for. Like, how did I get where I am? Thank you, eHarmony, for matching me up with my husband.
But again, like, once you get that the one time, it's like,
right.
Right, well, that was fun.
Right. And so it's hard, but it does make you be more focused or intentional.
Yeah.
At trying to find those things to be thankful for.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know.
Just say it. We can always edit it out.
I don't know. I just feel like it's so hippie. It is. And it's just like, I struggle a lot with things that are like intentionally emotional.
Okay.
And like intentionally positive or intentionally negative, or like what, like I could never be that person who just like, I'm not the person, like when you said like a couple weeks ago, like you've been intentionally writing things down, positively, I was just like, oh man, like that would be so hard for me.
It isn't easy for me.
Yeah.
I will tell you that. it can be very difficult for me. And that's when I make myself, like I said, I don't do this every day.
Yeah.
I will make myself sit down and be like, all right, you've got to break out of this funk. Let's think about some good stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not the kind of person who like as my managerial style, like I have a really hard time like rewarding people for doing their job.
Right.
And I feel like, I mean,
you apply that to yourself.
Exactly.
Then.
So my job is to make money to buy things. Mike's job is to take care of the kids.
Right.
So it's really hard for me. Like the kids' job is to not be, hellions.
Right.
So thanks for doing the bare minimum of life. Right. You know what I mean? I know that I shouldn't think that way. Like even just work-wise, managerially, it's a really bad way to think.
Right.
But it definitely carries into my personal life because it's just like,
well, it's your style, right? Yeah.
I mean, good job, guys. Like that's why I think I struggle so much with like potty training, because it's just like I have to be fake overly happy for that you peed in the potty. Like go into the bathroom and pee in the potty. Like why are we having this long drawn out like happy? I have to make a board for the train to travel across and give you prizes, like,
or picking up your toys and cleaning them up. I'm not gonna cheer you on for picking up the mess that you made. Nobody cheers me on when I do laundry. I mean, nobody cheers me on when I've done dishes. In fact, I have to be like, hey, I did dishes to get anyone to recognize.
And then even still, it'll be like, huh.
It's, oh, good job, honey. I know you don't mean that.
With the eye roll. Right? Should have did that 3 days ago.
Right, exactly. That's usually what he mumbles under his breath. So, but I was trying to be positive. So, it can be beneficial, especially for me, because like when I get into my dark place, it's like chasing that rabbit down the hole. Like, one negative thing leads to another negative thing to another negative, and then I'm like starting to imagine people are talking about me. I probably sound psycho at this moment, but I'm not.
But no, you start like spiraling, and it's just like, see, and I think it probably would help me to write down positive things, but like in that scenario that you just described, like people are talking about me, I'm just like, in my mind, I'm just like, let them talk. Like, I'm fantastic. Like, I almost get more stubborn and dig my feet in.
Right.
Dig my heels in further when I feel opposition. So it's just like, that fuels me. And it's like, I mean, that's probably not very healthy.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But like, yeah. So, I mean, gratitude.
You can do it. You can try.
I will definitely try it.
So just, I did have an article here. It's not by anything scientific or anything like this. It's called happify.com. And they just repeat like some of the same stuff that I have talked about, but just, they say to do it regularly. They don't, I know I've read articles where they say do it daily. That's a good practice, is to do it daily. I personally don't do it daily, but I know some people have encouraged you, but they just talk about the science. They do talk about the science of how focusing on positive things can help bring you out of a funk. And it does also, it also helps you look and notice the things around you, because as I said, if you're being intentional about it, you're like, oh yeah, if I didn't have my husband, I would have to be going out there and throwing all that snow in the driveway. And our driveway like lasts forever, like yours.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
We just don't shovel.
Right. My husband, that I'm thankful for the work ethic that his parents have instilled in him, because it just drives him crazy to look at that snow. But then they also recommend like freshen up your thanks. Like, don't repeat just the same thing every day, because as you said, then it kind of just disqualifies. Right. I mean, eventually you end up back at the same place. You're just like writing automatically, just like, oh, I'm thankful I have a car so I can drive to Starbucks. Well, I think that would make me happy every day.
Every day. It would.
It's like my little break in the. Disclaimer, I don't go to Starbucks every day. I would really like to, but I
don't.
I respect my husband.
Hey, I went from a 3-a-day Starbucks habit to like I don't even get it every day now.
That is super amazing,
right?
And restraining because
right? So proud of myself.
I'm look, since we're admitting things, I have to say that coffee is not really my addiction. I like coffee. Diet Coke is my addiction. So Diet Coke is what I would trudge through a snowstorm for.
That's fair.
So kudos to you on the coffee thing, because I understand the whole I gotta have something.
Yeah.
But then they say, be real about it. As I said, be specific. Just not, I'm thankful for my kids. It's I'm thankful that Malcolm is just like me.
True. I mean, not really.
Let's side note this, because I was thinking about this the other day, because Joe is like a lot like me. And the other day he was coming at me and I'm like, why do people even talk to me? People have got to hate me, because right now I just want to strangle this little kid because he is just
Get on your last nerve.
I was like, all right, God, I get it. I need to change. Thank you for giving me a child that is so much like me that I recognize my opportunities. And then one of the big things that they talk about is just being social about your gratitude. Again, it's being thankful for the other people in your life that are outside of your house. And I would have to say that especially is helpful to me, because I do recognize, like, even during like the shutdown and stuff, the people that intentionally reached out to me and like messaged me to say, hey, how are you doing? I mean, that was so impactful to me, because
you feel so much less alone.
Right, exactly. I mean, maybe I can't have that face to face with you, but I know that you took the time out to think about me today.
Yeah.
So it is possible, even in our world today, to be grateful for other people.
Well, and it's so funny because, like, okay, so there are certain people that, like, I intentionally send weekly things to and, like, thanking them.
Yep.
And just like encouraging them and like, whatever. And I guess I don't look at that as the same thing, but I mean,
it is.
In all the articles I read, it's like one of the things, like be grateful for other people
and express that
other people.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't even always have to write it, like give it to them. But like, I mean, it's funny because the way that I think of it is I think of it like so selfishly, because it makes me feel so good.
Right.
Like to do that I'm just like, this is really a selfish task.
Right. It is. And
but it's not. But it totally is.
I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. I'm like, because I'm a giver.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that it drives my husband crazy, number one. But he will or I will give because of the way that it makes me feel, and then I have to stop and think, like,
is this really a genuine task? Or am I just... And I think that all the time, because like I write, like, Mondays I send out a text like telling these people like what I'm grateful for or whatever, or like I try really hard, like if I think of somebody like randomly as I'm doing something, I try really hard
to stop
what I'm doing and like to just send them like a text or something, be like, hey, I was thinking about you, hope your day is going well. Because like nobody ever does that to me, and I would feel like all sorts of
super
like,
special,
oh,
right?
Thinking about me, that was so nice of you. So, but I mean, it is kind of selfish.
It is.
Just like, and then they like text back and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I really need that." And I'm just like walking around, like strutting around the kitchen. Just
I'm
like,
amazing.
I'm amazing. I'm the nicest person ever. Like, see, and I'm just like, I am misusing this.
I'm so glad we have our conversations together via a podcast because I'm so glad I'm not alone.
But it's true because it's just like, I mean, I'm definitely misusing this.
Right.
Like, I need to feel better about myself. I'm going to make somebody else feel better so they can make me feel fantastic.
Right. That's exactly
I don't think that that's the practice that we're supposed to be doing. And I don't know, like, maybe it's just us. I don't know. But, like, for sure. It's definitely my go-to if I'm like feeling down. I'm just like, I'm gonna tell somebody they're amazing today,
right?
So I can feel amazing.
Yeah. Well, even if it is just us, at least we have each other.
That's true. There's at least two of us.
There's
so.
two of us in this world that feel better about making other people feel good.
Yeah, but I'm the same way about gifts too, though. Like, my love language is definitely gifts, but I think that my love language is gifts because I love giving people gifts because, like, it makes them feel so good and they're so grateful, which makes me feel good.
Right.
So it's just like,
it's like an endless cycle, right?
Yeah, it's just, so we're just, I do whatever I need to do to make myself feel good.
Right.
Basically.
Well, and isn't it also nice, like a year later, if you see them using that item, you're like, I got that for them.
Well, and I'm like, for sure, one of the best gift givers I know. I am. Because I don't shop off lists or whatever. I'm that kind of person who, like, if I'm walking down an aisle and I see something for somebody, I'm just like, this is what they're getting. It can be March, and I'm like, this is their Christmas present.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I actually, like, sometimes my friends, like, hate it because I get very thoughtful gifts.
Right.
So now it's become, like, this thing where I'm just like, okay, but am I really being thoughtful, or am I just trying to, like, show them, like, look how thoughtful I really am?
So you start second guessing yourself, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't. It's never wrong to be nice.
Yeah.
Whether it makes you feel good or not, it's never wrong to be nice. So I think that's about it for this. I mean, we could probably go on and on all day about why we should be thankful. Right. But
so, how do you teach Joe thankfulness?
You know what? That's a good question. I actually follow this on social media, and I get their emails, and I can't think of them right off the top of my mind, but we'll include it in our show notes. But they talk about teaching your kids mindfulness. And so they've had some really great ideas. I've not implemented anything yet. I would say the best that I can do is I do teach him to say thank you. At this point, it's saying thank you when people give you stuff. I mean, even like for Valentine's Day, I got his Sunday school teachers each a book by one of my favorite children's authors. And I wrote a little note in there to them, and I read Joe what it says, and then I had Joe sign his backward J. Because his name, he's like, it's L, Mom. I'm like, Joseph. Oh my God.
Joseph. Joseph.
I need therapy for like some of these conversations with my son, because I'm like, oh, anyway, but and so and then when we got to church, before we reached the room, I handed him each of the books, and this one is for Sister Brittany, this one's for Sister Casey. Give them, and you say, Happy Valentine's, thank you for being your teacher, which he didn't, he struggled to remember everything by the time we got to the classroom, but I just helped him with saying those things. Mm-hmm. And because I want him to be grateful for the people that he does have in his life. Yeah. So I try to think of what I would like if I were in the other person's shoes. And I know Joe is a handful. Like, he gets with other kids and he loses all focus on life.
Yeah.
And so I even though they're like, oh, he's the sweetest kid ever. Look, I had him in Sunday school.
Kids are different with their parents.
It's true. As we were discussing earlier offline, I actually had to kick him out of my Sunday school class a couple times because I was like, we need space from each other. Right? I cannot just beat you in front of all. I don't really beat him. It's just disclaimer, figure of speech. I can't punish you in front of all these kids. They'll think I'm a monster. So I try to look at those things that I know that I would have been grateful for, and teach him to recognize those. That's what I do. But I have seen like some other cute ideas where like there's families who get a jar out for the year, and every week each person in the family writes out something good that happened that week, and they put it into the jar. And then at the end of the year, for their New Year's Eve, they go through and they read each of the things that they were grateful for in that week. So it's kind of just I
just did that math in my head. That would be over 300 slips of paper for us.
A whole lot of reading, right? The good news is Rayla's would be easy.
That's true. She wouldn't have anything. Okay, so it would only be 250. But still, yeah, that's actually a really cute idea.
So it was, I mean, even if I didn't do that for Joe at this point, I think that would be even something good just for myself.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do a baby step towards practicing gratitude once a week in a jar,
it's like not a big deal. It's
right.
Low impact for sure. Right. And then when you're sick of it, just hide the jar in the cabinet until 6 months when everybody forgot about it. And you're like, okay, I can go in the trash.
So, but it's something that I'm starting to try to work with Joe on. I mean, he's just now starting to have reason, and I shouldn't say just now. We've been arguing for a good year at least. So.
See, so the way that I really try to teach my kids gratitude is like when we are, when we go to a restaurant or when we go to the grocery store or even the gas station, to thank the person working. And like, it's so funny because I've had people like, what are you having them thank them for? And it's like, well, they're thanking them for working. They're thanking them for service. Checking out their stuff. They're thanking them for their service. They're thanking them just for being there. Like in this day and age, especially with everything being so crazy, like, thanks for coming to work today.
Right.
Thanks for coming to work today so I can have my cookies.
Right.
Like,
I can get my chocolate milk, right?
Right? Like, what? Even if I don't know what I'm saying, and I know that there's those people out there who are like, well, if you don't know what you're saying thank you for, is it really genuine? Who cares?
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm not that kind of person who says, like, if you say I love you too much, it loses its meaning. That's just not. Are you listening, honey? If you say I love you too much, it doesn't lose its meaning.
Psst, Dan O'Brien.
So, I mean, is it silly sometimes? Yes. But it's so funny because, like, little Malcolm voice in the back of the car when you run through drive-thru, I'll roll down his window and he'll say, thank you. And everybody just gets this big smile. They're like, yeah. Oh, you're so cute. You're welcome. You know what I mean? Like, how hard is that?
Right. It's not difficult at all. And to your point, it's not something that you hear a lot of people doing anymore. So
right? I like, be nice to my child. Say you're welcome.
Right.
Teach you some gratitude too.
I think that's another show. Because you just hit a hot button on me. Just acknowledge him, okay? I that's probably all you can do is just make them recognize like stuff that they may be taking for granted in their little world, right?
Yep.
So
So, okay, that wasn't as painful as I thought it would be.
Not painful at all.
Yeah.
And I totally would never shame you if you never wrote down gratitude stuff. I mean, whatever. To each their own, right? Whatever helps you get through life. So
I just have like I said before, I have a hard time like being,
I understand.
All right, so recommendations.
Recommendations. So I am going to recommend a book. It's more of a business-minded book.
Totally fine.
I have been, I'm going to be honest, I've been reading it for maybe a little over a year because it does it's lengthy.
Yeah.
And because it is business-minded, even though she does a great job of being a storyteller in it, it still can be dense, and you have to like stop because you want when I read, I like to absorb. I don't want to read just to read the words.
That's fair.
But it's Stories That Stick by Kindra Hall, and it's Kindra. And she talks all about the art of using storytelling to sell your product or to for your blog, whatever you're doing in your business, using the art of storytelling to basically sell yourself, I guess. And she does a great job. She actually goes through and she'll talk about like some of the commercials in our lifetime that have like totally flopped. And and it's because there was no real story behind them. And she points out, like, think about the commercials where they just give you facts.
Yeah.
Are those really the commercials that you remember?
No.
Or do you remember like the personal relationship stories that where people who actually use the product give their reviews? And then then there's also like the founder stories, like, why do you go with a specific company? Is it because of that person and their story? Like, for me, me with 31, like, I'm still with 31 at this point selling because I love to hear Cindy Monroe tell her story and how she believes
it's encouraging.
Yeah, it just
sure.
And so it's having a good story about why you do what you story, but being able to fully express why you do what you do will help people follow you. So it was if you're business minded or an entrepreneur at all, Stories That Stick by Kindra Hall, it's been good.
Well, my recommendation is, okay, so I made a post about this that we posted on social media.
Okay.
But for those people who don't follow our social media, number one, you should.
Exactly.
We're hilarious.
Right.
Number two, you're going to get like this double emphasis. So it is really hard to come up with activities to do with the kids, especially like I've said 800,000 times, I have a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old.
Right.
And just to show them like individualized attention or do things on their level is just really hard. So the other day, Malcolm wanted us to be an ambulance.
Okay.
Ambulance workers or whatever. So he was just like, they have owies. And I was just like, okay, well, we should get bandages. And he's just like, oh yeah. So then I was thinking, and then I was like, a roll of toilet paper. We could just have a roll of toilet paper be their bandages. And I know in this time, like, toilet paper currency is like gold.
Right.
But like, normal life.
I think it's better now.
Right? Yeah, for sure. So we like got out a roll of toilet paper and we bandaged up all of his like stuffed animals, and then like, through the day, some of them would just randomly heal. So he like threw away their bandages.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
And it was just the most basic way to like have an activity and play with my kid.
And he was happy with it.
And he was so happy. And the thing is I think sometimes, I'm guilty of this, where I overthink play.
Mm-hmm.
Where like nothing can ever just be basic. Everything's got to be so extra.
Right.
And like this was literally a roll of toilet paper. and
Right.
some tape.
I think it goes back to when we talked about like the sensory bins and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you can go overboard with it, but you can just walk into the Dollar Tree store or walk into your kitchen and
Right. Like you don't have to.
right.
You do whatever you feel is necessary.
Whatever's necessary, but you can make playing with your kid easy.
Yeah. So, you know, be an EMT, grab a roll of toilet paper, wrap up some stuffed animals. It's honestly kind of fun because then like we were taking out like markers and like signing their casts.
Oh,
yeah. So I mean, it was fun. I definitely had fun with it. So
that's super cute.
Plus, I love when they want to be things beyond the realm of like normal things. Like
right.
when they want to pretend to be like, if it's not a doctor or a race car driver, I'm good.
Right.
Because I feel like that's all they ever wanted. Let's be a doctor. It's like, okay, I mean, thanks, Doc McStuffins.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah. The toy's broken. It goes in the garbage. We're not fixing it. I don't care. We're not calling Doc McStuffins. No.
That's my husband. My husband's like, we'll fix it.
I'm
like, no, just throw it away.
We have a room of toys then that need to be fixed. It's like, I don't want to fix this. You don't want to fix this. Can we just throw them out?
We have a stuffed bear still. And it's funny because it came up in my timeline the other day that we had bought for Joe and we left it down on the floor, went to church or something, came home, and the stuffed bear had gotten it, like just stuffing all over. Well, my husband, because I'm like, we're throwing it out, and he's like, no way. So he went and got one of Joe's little onesies, and he stuffed the stuffing back in there. We still have that bear.
See, if it was like a special bear and there was like some sort of like, my boys have, so when my husband's brother, who was 10 years older than him, he enlisted in the army and he went to like Berlin, Germany, when he was 7. So when his brother left, he gave him a bear. His name's Bobo. So my boys have this bear now. Technically, like John definitely considers it his bear, but fine. It's Bobo. If Bobo got ripped, Bobo would be
then you fix that, right?
Yeah. If it was just random, but I can't tell you how many random toys I throw out weekly. But I have to do it when my husband's not home. Like the kids can't be here, nor can the husband.
Yes.
Because otherwise it'll be like blocks that have like chunks of banana in them. They go in the trash. I am not cleaning I'm not cleaning bananas out of blocks.
Yeah,
no. My
husband will painstakingly put all that in the sink, fill it with water, just soap, wash all that. Ugh.
Wash the dishes, buddy.
Right.
You don't need to wash the blocks.
He'll do it all together. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. So I think that's it for our show today. We appreciate you joining us. If you don't already, you can follow us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at Messy Bun Mamas Podcast. Yep. And then on Twitter at Buns _ podcast.
We're also on LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn under Messy Bun. And you can also find us on Pinterest as well. So yeah. I've been trying to save like different things that we talk about on our show just to kind of support our theories, but also like some of the craft stuff we talk about as well. So
what I do want to do is call out our 2 Patreons.
Yes.
We have 2 Patreons. I don't know. I like the way Patreon sounds better, so that's what we're gonna go with. We have an espresso member.
Woohoo!
It's Belinda. Thanks, Belinda.
Double shots.
Yeah.
Double shot of espresso.
And then we have a cold brew member, which is Alicia.
Yay, Alicia. And we really appreciate your kind words as well.
Yeah.
Alicia.
Right. And so here's the deal for everybody who has listened this long. We are getting merch.
Yay!
And our Patreons are going to be the first people who are going to get some of our merch, but then we're also going to have it available on that page. So go check it out. We do have some special stuff on there. We have some show notes. We have some playlists. We
just did our love song playlist.
Yeah, for Valentine's Day.
Where it could have been like 100 songs between the two of us, but we did try to
it was so funny because you're like, we should do this, and I was just like, I think I spent an hour just like, oh, this song, oh, this song, oh, this song, and I'm just like, this looks like a monkey on crack pressing play on Spotify. There's no continuity in genre, singers,
I'm going to say that while I was putting the playlist together and I was going through your songs, I'm like, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that one of Melissa. That's a good song. I've never heard that song. So it was fun to hear all your songs. You did have but my husband's like that as well. He likes everything, so I'm kind of used to that.
It's just funny because it's like I have like a country song, and then I have like Papa Roach, and then and then it's just like, here's a cheesy
love song,
and then there's REO Speedwagon in there as well.
I know. Well, and then I messaged you because as I'm putting it together, I'm like, oh my goodness, I am so old because I've got like Celine Dion and Bryan Adams, so all
those are like traditional love songs.
Yeah, like
for sure. Bryan Adams is like up there with like Wind Beneath My Wings,
right?
Whatever. So it's just like, I mean, that's fair,
right? So I was like, man, nothing really makes me feel old than making the song list right now. But to be fair, I don't really know a lot of the current love songs. I don't know that there's even big ones out right now. So
yeah. Well, and my taste in music is so weird because it's just like there's a song by Panic at the Disco that's called like Death of a Bachelor, and like to me it's a love song because it's about like his life as a bachelor dying because he fell in love. Not everybody might feel that way. They might be like, okay, well, it's not really a love song. You know what I mean? Like, he's not sitting there like, just like, I love you forever and always.
You know, I struggled with that though, because I texted you a couple and I was like, is this a love song? Yeah. So, I definitely feel that same way. Like some of the songs that I was like, it's romantic to me, and my husband's like, it's not really a love song, it's kind of a breakup song.
I love Picture by Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock. That's one of the songs. I love that song. Like when it first came out, I used to call the radio like, can you play this? I love that song. I don't care, we're calling it a love song. But like when you sing along to the lyrics, you're just like,
this is not
maybe
a love song.
It's not a love song.
And there was a couple of Pink songs too that I was like,
they're not really
love songs, but they make me, I don't know.
They make me feel the feels.
I appreciate my husband more after I listen to them. So.
Right. All right. I guess that is it, and we will talk to you next week.
Have a great week.
Yep. Bye.
I am Messy Bun Heads.
This is Messy Bun Mama's podcast.
This is Messy Poop.
Messy buns, you silly. Hello, this is Melissa. I am here to talk to you about our Patreon page. This is a page that you can go to and give us a monthly donation as you listen to our podcast, and you can get bonus content such as getting episodes early, getting bonus episodes, and a bunch of other things. Eventually, we'd like to do some t-shirts and so much more. So if you're interested, no pressure, you can go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/messybunmamas podcast. Again, that's patreon.com/messybunmamas podcast. In a fitting manner, there is a coffee membership, a cold brew membership, and an espresso membership. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on that page, and thank you so much for listening.
Messy Bun Mamas. I'm Joe. I'm John. I am Malcolm. Wow.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.